Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamalov. We had our first government fake release today. I know people hate when I say fake, but somehow they were looking for a job creation of 50,000 ish, and they doubled that. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe you do. I don't know how. First of all, I don't know how you can rely on this number. Um, with the government shutdown and everything else. But more importantly than that, I mean, how do you see jobs growth this strong? It's really kind of crazy. And then the market is actually rallying up. It was selling off initially off the number, and now it's moving higher. So I'm gonna throw it right away to you because you may have a good explanation of what it all means. So I'm throwing it to you. Good morning. Let our subscribers and viewers know what you're thinking.
Yeah, so this is the September jobs report. I don't know how accurate it is or how reliable it is, but I think this is the last jobs data point that the Fed has before its December 10th Fed meeting. And I was looking at the Fed minutes yesterday that came out, and a lot of the Fed doesn't believe that we need a rate cut in December. So strong jobs report. Most of the Fed probably doesn't want a rate cut. Doesn't look like we're going to get a rate cut, right?
Oh, why don't you go to your trusty data maker on the odds for Fed funds futures? That would be the interesting one to look at. But what's really interesting to me is why is the market reaction? It's not. I mean, we only rallied 15 points, not a big deal. But what's bullish about that number today? In the market had this insatiable appetite, as you know, for Fed rate cuts, right? I mean, would you agree with that? Fed rate cut. Fed's cutting rates. That's why we're going higher. Fed's cutting rates. Fed's cutting rates. But really, I think the Fed is 100% on hold. I've said this a while ago in December. And actually, I think scaling forward, it may even be a lot longer before we see another cut moving forward. Now, listen, all of that changes in about, what is it, 5 months when Jerome Powell gets kicked out of office and Trump puts in his guy, whoever that is. It may be. Maybe Besson, if because Besson is the best do boy that he has. He just does, he just listens to everything he says. So maybe he appoints him. But again, market reaction is a little. I mean, listen, it's a Green Day. Nvidia came in good numbers. We talked a little before we got on the air. They said no AI bubble. I mean, come on. When has anybody admitted being the biggest in the space, whether it be the internet bubble or the telecom bubble, Bernie Evers and all this other stuff? Um, who has ever admitted that we're in a bubble? He's going to come on the call and go, "Yes, I think we're in a bubble." I mean, so that's not happening. Um, and the stock is up what 10%, a little less. I'm sorry, it's up 5%. 5%, which is under the straddle. The straddle came in, it was like 12%. It was about 8%. And, it's pretty fully baked in. And, I kind of think like last night, um, for people that have trading accounts in future options or SPX, the premiums were sky high. I mean, I'm seeing premiums that are crazy for zero DTE. It's pretty unbelievable. We sold some calls on the upside far out of the money, about 100 points from here, which would put it as the second biggest up day of the year. Okay, which I'm
Okay.
seeing. Um, and those things are literally in half pretty much by the morning with the market not really moving. So, that's really the only thing that I was looking at. Bonds surprisingly are not really doing much. Yields, I'd like to see them go above 415. That's not happening at this moment in time. But that's what I would like to see, to make it look interesting. But, for today, I think premium options should be sold. I think after yesterday's movement, I would say over the last 3 days, the computer algos have gotten annihilated. Literally, yesterday was an annihilation. Okay. I mean, the swings, even in our P&L, were massive yesterday for what they usually are. So I think people are tired. Think people are licking their wounds. I'm just not understanding why the mantra of, you know, AI being overvalued is overshadowed by Nvidia's earnings, which you knew. I mean, listen, you don't know for sure, but I had a pretty good feeling that, they were going to be fine and they were not going to say anything negative. So that's what happened. But really, the S&P future ripping 90 handles on an Nvidia up 4% now, coming in a little, is weird, right? I mean, this is a big move relative.
Yeah, it feels like they were waiting for Nvidia to save the day, and I guess now they think Nvidia has saved the day. I don't know. I don't know. Was that the bottom? Do you think that was the bottom?
Um, do I think that was the bottom? No, I definitely don't. I mean, I think it's tradable for sure. But you know, I think there's more to go. What do you think? OG.
Yeah, I think tradable is. I think we have action. I mean, 100 points out, you're getting premium on the S&P 500, which is it's pretty far out of the money
A
already after
hundred,
100.
120 points down, you're getting money. You're getting money. I mean, straddle must be coming in. I have not looked, but it was high last night. It was over 60 at the money. It was like 55, 60. I bet you it's much lower than that right now. I don't know if you can pull it up.
What the straddle for right now? So volatility is also coming in. I'm looking at the VIX futures. They 21.25 was an important level for December futures. We're under that. That was a big volume support that would have to hold, I
But why?
think.
Let me ask you a question. Why are we at
Also, hold up. There's another the front end of the VIX curve started to uninvert a little bit yesterday. It's probably even more uninverted today. Just the front part, the whole structure is still fully inverted, but I think it's getting less inverted. Nasdaq S&P spread is actually been holding up pretty well.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know. There's and now you have this Nvidia report. Now they're not going to have a rate cut, that's for sure. The probability of that fell considerably. It's now only 25%. So
There. That is a zero. It was a zero when it was 85. I wish there was a way to really capitalize on it, but it was
yeah,
zero.
now they're just waiting for the January cut, and what's the difference whether we get one in December or
I don't
January?
think we're going to get one in January. How are they going to cut when you have no slowing down of anything? You actually have a peak acceleration, okay, in chip demand and a business expansion. You're now seeing job creation. I don't even understand how you have job creation. You know, it's weird.
The other weird thing is the the 210 curve, the yield curve, has been steepening since the last Fed meeting. So I don't, what do you make of that? It's been steepening even though we're not going to get a rate cut in all likelihood in December. Usually it would be the other way around, but yield curve is steepening. What is that telling you?
It basically means that the Fed's going to stay stagnant for a while, right? And long rates are going to back up because those are the ones that move the most when there is movement. So, the short rates are going to be where they're going to be. Um, you know, um, but
You
overall,
know, this also kind of presents a lot of potential opportunities. I think you spotted one yesterday, which, you say I never listened to you, but you gave me the go ahead. I'm like, you know what? Larry's getting bullish on Bitcoin. I better buy some right now.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. So I'll just say, talking about Bitcoin, which I wanted to get into a bit, the largest outflows out of Bitcoin yesterday. That's my key signal. I was waiting for that at 100,000. It's sick that it came at 88,000 or 89,000. It's actually sick. Okay. And what's interesting to me is your OGs or whoever you think these guys are, they just got whitewashed and they just got liquidated out. Okay. So I don't know the size of the liquidation. I have to really check that. But, ETF land, it was pretty big. Okay. So what I think in Bitcoin, okay, is this is what I call a rentable trade for the minute. So I am long Bitcoin. We are long it, hoping that we can get a decent rally. I would say this correlation to equities versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is so underperforming equities right now on a risk on basis that it's a little bit scary. So, I think they're going to toy around with this 91, 92 area, and I'm thinking maybe we get a little pop up from there, but it's not going anywhere. This is a broken thing. It's the opposite of sort of what you were saying about 3 weeks ago, where the rotation out, new buyers. To me, that's always a sign of weakness, not strength. I want old buyers that are up a lot of money. I don't want new guys that are crushed. And the only positive thing I would say in Bitcoin right now is that the players that are new got run out of town here. So maybe some of the real OGs are coming back in at 88 and trying to scoop and get back in. And, listen, a 35% plus down move is big. I mean, I know you don't think so. I know you think all your people can hold for massive losses, but I'm telling you one thing. If the S&P went down 10% right now, this place would be blown up. It would look like a city, in the Middle East that got hammered. Okay. It would be blown up building, blown up people on a 10% move. Like yesterday, we didn't even move 1.5%, and there was smoke after the day ended. People were devastated yesterday, crushed. Okay. A friend of mine called me and we were talking, and I looked at the SPOO when we were talking, and the SPOO was up 12, and it felt like we crashed. It felt like we literally crashed yesterday because a lot of the risk on assets got hit, Bitcoin, etc. They got hit, but you know, Bitcoin not rallying the way that it should right now. It is up 2%, but if we're up 1.5, I would say the correlation to Bitcoin is 5%. Like if the S&P is up 1.5, usually Bitcoin would be up 3 to 7 or 3 to 6. But there's still an overhang of people losing a lot of money, Eric. So you got to be very careful. And you're thinking your OG players these new players have no money. They can't stay in this trade. They're getting tapped on the shoulder. But what I thought was interesting, and I want to spend a lot of time on it, but that there was no liquidation in Bitcoin from 103 down to yesterday, basically. So that doesn't freak you out that like there was no whoosh trading or active selling. So I don't know. I'm long it. It doesn't feel great. We're going to give it a
Well,
little bit of a
what's
college
weird
try.
is what's weird is the mass liquidations. You remember like a few weeks ago happened actually when it was trading above 100K. You know, when like massive amounts of crypto traders all got liquidated that one night.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like there may have been less here, but it was interesting. You called me yesterday about this trade. I pulled up the chart. I'm like, oh, look at that RSI right at the oversold level. Yeah, this could be a good. I mean, if you're looking for a tradable bounce, it should come here, right? With conditions oversold. Where are the Bitcoin bulls at? I mean, they got to defend this level on this trading setup.
They're blown out. They're blown out. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to leave this to you. You're the Bitcoin expert. I'm borrowing
Yeah,
your.
I'm in. Now, what do you think is a better play? MSTR, Bitcoin, IBIT? How are you playing it?
All of the above positions and everything for the minute, but that's going to be quick on the trigger. I actually am going to actually do the opposite of what people, that are trading are doing. I'm actually going to size my position higher or more when it gets up to 94. Okay. To a move higher. I think once it breaks through this 92, 93 noise area, it's a noise area right now. It could tick higher. But I do think there are severe problems in the underlying asset. I think it's owned by the wrong people. I know you think they're the right people, they're the wrong people. My mother and company, own it right now. And, all 80-year-old people are in Bitcoin ETFs. It's owned by the wrong people, Eric. Listen, this asset class, when it first came, and I actually gave you a little bit of you know a compliment there. I called it an asset class. I'm really not sure if it is even an asset class. But the one thing I'll say is when it came out, it was impossible to buy. I had a guy in my office. He was mining Bitcoin. I'm like, listen, I'm a trader. I would take risk on a trade. Okay. There was no way for me to buy it. He's like, oh, yeah, you can buy it here and you put it on this zip drive and, you keep it in your drawer. I'm like, I'm not doing that, which was a mistake looking back. But overall, you know, um, this this stuff is owned by the wrong people. I think that's the scary part. I know you don't think that, but I think it's owned by the wrong people.
Interesting reaction here on interest rates. The 30-year is going much higher, but the 2 year is kind of just sitting there.
When you're saying
Um,
higher, you're saying bonds are going lower, yields are going higher. Yields are going higher on the long end, and the short end's not moving because the short end shouldn't move. You know, basically, if they're in a rate cutting cycle, those rates should tighten up, and the yield curve should actually, basically flatten like we saw when rates went to zero. When they believe that it's over, then rates are going higher on the longer end, but just a quickie. Dollar is actually strong against the euro. Yen broke out. Dollar against the yen is almost 160. It might be a good time to go to Japan. This is like almost high levels. Um, British pound is 130. So the dollar is showing some strength here. Oil is, basically at 60 where it always is. Spot gold up $10, not a lot. Really, I'm looking at the S&P up 104. I mean, that's a pretty sick move. for the S&P, especially after yesterday's action. I mean, the
And they're
market.
acting like they want more.
Okay, then you should buy them. You like buying S&Ps up 105? I mean, okay.
I didn't say I like it. I said the market is acting like it wants more.
Well, tomorrow is a true expiration. So, there's a lot riding on tomorrow's expiration, obviously. Um, 99 out of 100 times it's skewed to the buy side, just for people out there that trade these expirations. They're usually to the buy side. It's easy to, buy stocks. Um, it's interesting, though, since the S&P went from up 80 to up 106, Nvidia didn't move a tick. It literally didn't move. So this move is coming from, I mean, Meta's ticking up a little, Palantir, the culprits are ticking up a little, but S&P, as we're talking, is pretty much on the high tick of the day, up 107. So here we sit. We're gonna watch today, see what goes on, and we're gonna have to make touchdown Tommy behind me. We're gonna have to make a lot of moves today, son. Yesterday, let me just bring him on the air for a second.
Good morning.
What, did you see crazy stuff yesterday going on in the market? He was I was actually out of the office, which was probably better because the positions were not doing well, and I was managing them from the road. But it was, I mean, it was actually unbelievable. That's all I'll say. Unbelievable.
Well, you
Unbelievable.
got to tell us what happened. Now you got to tell us what happened.
Just when volatility is very, very high and you sell premium and you sell, spreads, the spreads never come in. They never come in until the very end of the day. So one side of your spread is going to max loss. The other side, at the end of the day is a max gain, right? But during the day, it's not. There's premium. We're selling right now $130 down puts for $3 for today. You know, it's crazy. You know, so that's what's going on. It was a crazy day. S&Ps are actually ripping. I mean, ripping. It's pretty unbelievable, and I'm surprised at the reaction to the jobs number. You know, basically, you came on every day. I don't want to, we've been mellow for a long time. We haven't been fighting on the air. So I'm going to remain mellow. But one of your mantras to the bull market is that they're going to cut rates. You kept saying, "Oh, they think that the Fed's cutting rates, and when they cut rates, it's bullish and whatever." And now you're seeing, honestly, there is no rate cut coming, right? And who knows when the next one is? And the market is heading up, and I thought the market would be a little bit timid off of a decent jobs number. Which, listen, I don't know if this is even real. There could be, one thing with the jobs number. Remember, was it last year we had 2 million jobs taken away at the end of the year? I mean, so I don't know how they can rely on this number, but overall, market's flying. So that's what we got here.
So what are you doing at the open?
I don't know.
You said you could maneuver. You said you need to maneuver. What are you going to be doing?
Selling. Selling something, either puts or calls, depends on what's going on. So, really, a lot of my strategies, and not really for the subscription subscriber, this is more in the Wizard ETF, WZRD. Like for my products, I'm a net buyer of options, okay, because this is a actively managed trading strategy that you got to really be on the hair trigger, right? And I don't want to put people in position like that. I have many strategies. So mostly other than our S&P spread trader, which is a great product, we're long options net in general. So, for long options, this is actually a fairly good environment with high volatility. But on a strategy where you're basically short premium or short options net, you got to manage this like every minute. That's sort of what we do. I think with a 20, what's interesting, and I've told you this, what I think with volatility being as high as it is, okay, you can make a lot of money selling out of the money put spreads or out of the money call spreads. Like our S&P trader, which is our best product over the last 6 years, it's never had a losing year. Actually, it's probably been 7 years. Is back positive on the year. It's been one of the toughest years for our product. I mean, you've been involved with me for a long time, so you know how that works. We're positive on the year, which I'm really, really happy about. And, you know, with premiums being what they are now, like this, we price this every day. Where's the straddle? Where's the out of the money? And there was never anything. And now you can go 100 points out of the money in S&P and get money. 80 out, 100 out. I mean, that's pretty good leeway, right? Wouldn't you think?
I'll one
Especially
up you
when the
on that.
market's up 100.
I think it was even crazier right before. Um, excuse how I sound. I have a cold, but yesterday, right before Nvidia came out with earnings, looking at the S&P 500, just about 100 points above the 100-day moving average, which I thought, listen, if Nvidia has a bad earnings report, the market could easily get there. I bought a deep out of the money butterfly, okay, that I actually got a credit for. I didn't have to pay anything. I actually got a credit for it. So if I would be wrong, which I was on the
So hang
trade,
on a second. What kind of butterfly? It had to be a broken butterfly, meaning
no, check
it
this
couldn't have
out. I'll
been.
give you no. I'll give
How
you the
could you get a
strikes right.
credit for that? Why would anyone give you a credit?
Maybe it's the way I structured it, but here's what I did. I did the 65.50, yeah, 65.50 put. Okay,
Hmm.
65.50. I bought that.
Okay.
I sold two 65.25s,
Hmm.
right? And I bought one on the wing for 64.75.
Right. That's a broken butterfly, dude. That's a broken butterfly. If you were going to do an actual even butterfly, you would have to do the 6,500 put. So I like that strategy. I use that strategy a lot, a lot. And that's how you could take in credits. But if we go through the lower band of even, you're now losing money. So if the market happened to go down a lot, that butterfly would actually lose money when you go through the middle strike. That's called a broken butterfly, and that's a great strategy. I use that strategy. So, like, what I like to do in index is one by twos, and people that know me know, that I did that in size for very many years. But I always buy a wing. Okay. You here bought a wing 25 outside of the actual true butterfly. So, like a true butterfly would be, you would be 50s long one, 25 short two, evens long one. And that's a butterfly.
Right.
you know,
I priced the even butterfly before the report came out also, and it was pretty even. Like you didn't even have to pay anything for it.
no, you don't have to. You don't have to, but the bottom line is, you know, you there are people you know
The My point is like in this with volatility recently up, I think it gives you opportunities like that where you could kind of structure stuff um, to kind of pay you both ways, even if whether you're right or wrong. Like here, I was, nothing happened. The market went up. I keep my
and
credit.
you take in your credit, and then you could do something even crazier. where you sell part of the front side of you sell the 50 puts, try to get, a dollar for those and, roll out by behind it some options at a dime. And now you're not only taking the credit, okay, you're now taking in more money by basically selling a put spread that's now 150 points out of the money. That's an interesting thing. Like I'm coming out of some of my long puts that are $140 out of the money right now, um, against short puts, and then basically short calls. So I mean these are intricate strategies, but there's a lot to be done at a 20 vol. And if we stay at 20 vol, two things. One, if we stay at a 20 vol plus, algos are dead. They're dead. They're getting chewed up on a daily. Okay. They are not able to do the front running and run in front of orders and this and that. And listen, this morning's a field day for these algos because market is dislocated on the opening. They're going to open stocks stupid. So like when you see stocks trading right now, they're going to open them even higher or try to than where they're trading because they have the ability if they have market on open orders to maneuver the market. But stuff I'm looking at, like I really feel like IBIT, I'm long it. It's garbage. Why is it such garbage? Why is this? This thing was the greatest show on earth, okay, for 10 months of this year, 10 and a half months. And now it is, Eric, it's garbage. This is garbage. It's going to go down on the day. It's so bad. I'm just telling you. What is going on here? No buyers? I mean, the people that are long are puking. I mean,
No matter what the staunchest Bitcoin bull says, but part of the price action, a big part of it, is the leverage in the market. And with liquidity in the bank system kind of running on empty the last couple of months, to me, that explains a lot of what's happening in Bitcoin.
I guess.
Now,
I guess. I mean, I guess. I listen. I mean, we've had many discussions
yeah,
since we
there's
started this podcast about how I don't even think it should have any value or any price to it. Okay, and I don't even know what it actually does. Okay, but listen, one thing I'll tell you, and I'm gonna say it in the nicest terms. Traders and hopefully people watching my podcast, I always say I can make a market in dog poop. Okay. I can make a market in anything. Okay. And it's one of your things, like your big thing is like, you're buying baseball cards or whatever. Okay. And you think they have value and you think they're worth something. And you know what? They are until they're not. Okay. And the same thing goes in the art market, the same thing goes in every market. And
the sports cards. It's fun. It's just a lot of fun.
But you're
I
doing
don't
it to, what are you talking about? You're doing it to make money, okay?
no.
You're paying.
What am I going to pay? $500 on a card? Big deal. That's not what.
What do you mean? I mean, I don't know. Listen,
Yeah,
money's
no.
money.
You
Money is
pull if
money.
you pull something really rare, which everybody's gunning for, but
Eric, listen, I don't want to listen. I don't want to get into the weeds. My point is this asset, like Pokemon cards or anything else, really has no inherent value. The only real inherent value that you have is when you put your money in the bank backed by the government and you're getting interest on your money, or you're buying a government bond. Even if you're buying, you keep chirping about this CDS, okay? I think it's an excuse. It's BS. I mean, you could put CDS in Amazon or Oracle at any level you want. This is just dislocating people on trades. It's like the Bitcoin trade. Let me ask you honestly. Did you ever think Bitcoin this year, especially, or even maybe in the next 2 years, would trade under 100,000. There's no way you thought that. You thought this thing
Yeah,
was a
but
moonshot to 250.
why not? Definitely within the realm of possibility for Bitcoin to trade under 100.
Not when you were
Now,
coming on this podcast, you were quoting Tommy Lee 250 by year end. I mean, come on. Tom Lee. I know he gets you mad when I compare you to Tom Lee, but
actually,
Tom
you remind me
Lee,
more of Tom Lee than I remind you of Tom Lee. But okay,
okay, whatever
just in
you say.
reverse. In
Okay. But
reverse.
I'm just telling you, Tom Lee says 250 by the end of the year. Do you think that's possible?
I would actually love to see you and Tom Lee in the same room going at it. That would be because you guys are like you're both
Eric,
Tom Lee, just
Eric,
different.
Tom Lee has never made money in the market. He is bullish no matter what. The only time he was bearish is after he launched his ETF, okay? And it went down 30% in 3 weeks. And he came on CNBC and apologized. And then, like 2 weeks later, the market bailed him out. You never heard from him again. He's bullish. I mean, listen, it's the same cast of characters over and over and over. So you got Dan Ives, you got Dan Nile, you got the same guys, bullish no matter what. Okay, bullish no matter what. So anyway,
You know what the thing is? Being bullish really sells. When you want to sell, when you're trying to sell something to the public, whether it's an ETF or a subscription or anything, anything like that, where you're not really getting paid on alpha, you're just getting paid on how much AUM you
right. So
bring. Or
basically, what you're saying is everybody's
being
looking to
bullish
hit
is what
lotto.
pays. Yeah, being bullish is what pays. That's what captivates the mind of the retail investor. The big idea, the big story, all that. But the hard work of actually trading and rigorous securities analysis and rigorous quantitative analysis that doesn't sell. That doesn't sell. You can make money. That's where you make money, but that's not what the
Why
public
wouldn't,
wants.
let me ask you a question. Why would you, okay, as an investor, as basically somebody looking in general, buy something, okay, or invest in something that may work out in 10 years. If me and you are doing what we're doing in 10 years, we're going to blow that return out of the water and we're going to turn positions. We're going to make money both long and short in the market during, like, listen, this is a gift. This market has been a gift for a bunch of years. Okay. Now it's going on. This will be the third year, right? Gift from the low. Okay. It's not going to be a gift going forward. It's going to be very difficult. And there's a reason here in my mind why there's a 20 vol. Let me ask you a question. The S&P is less than what? 1.5% from an all-time high? Why is VIX at 20? Why, or 21? And why was it 25 yesterday? Why? Just give me a reason why. I'm asking you the reason. VIX is a fear gauge, dude. VIX is a gauge of uncertainty and fear, under hedging, millions of different things. So my thought to you is, believe it or not, the S&P is up 103 right now, okay? But it doesn't feel great. I'm just saying it doesn't. Now we can keep going higher. I'm not saying we can't. And a lot of this may be because tomorrow is a cash out expiration on the opening where it's a serial monthly expiration. So that may be playing in here a little. But to me, I don't know why would we be at a 20 vol? We're higher. We're definitely higher than we were a year ago. You have to agree with that. And VIX was 12. Okay. So people, yes, the market, it's funny. I'm looking at the S&P 500. Okay. And it came back yesterday. What do you think the S&P 500 is up on the year?
At this point, I would say
Not including
16%.
today. No, it's
Oh,
12.9%.
not including today. Okay, then it's
Whatever,
like
it's
14.
13.5% or
Yeah.
whatever. So what I'm saying to you is If we come in the
Why,
end of
why,
this
why
year,
was the VIX up? But that's
what?
not the way the VIX really works. Yeah, but that's not like if you look at a daily chart of the VIX and then a daily chart of the S&P 500, you're gonna see nothing. I mean, the VIX goes like this. It's an oscillator.
Eric,
It's
I'm
an
not
oscillator.
looking at the VIX for today's trade. I'm looking at the VIX over. Hey, Thomas, where were we a year ago today? No, and okay, go 14. We were 14% lower, and the VIX was basically 13. So why is the VIX 20 and the market's 14% higher? Because they're scared out of their mind right now, dude. I don't know what you're seeing, but they're scared. And yesterday, I'm telling you, I've traded for a lot of years and I looked at the market and the SPOO was up and it felt like we were down 2%. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, holy shit, we're crashing. And I looked and we're up 12 handles. I'm like, oh my God. So, we'll see a lot of this. I think there may be, like I'm wrestling with two things, and then I got to get close to wrapping because I'm actually filming a webinar today. So I'm going up to the studio to film a webinar. But I would say, okay, that the market is here, but it doesn't feel right. Okay. Listen, give me your
Yeah,
biggest,
but coming from you, it never feels right. So
why do you say that? There were many times. What are you talking about? Hold on. Okay. Let me ask this kid behind us. Did we come in long or short today? He probably doesn't even know.
We're long today.
Tell him. I didn't no one can hear you.
We're long today.
We're what?
Long.
We are long, my son. Okay. We're
good
long the
job.
market. So don't be telling me. Don't be telling me. Okay.
Okay, okay. Nice.
Right.
Love it.
What do you mean? It's not love it. I trade both sides of the market. That's not the point. I bought Bitcoin. I don't feel great about Bitcoin. I'm actually long the market here
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
can't believe
selling,
it.
I'm
It's not.
selling.
I can't
Listen,
believe it's not trading above
here,
92. This thing
what?
can't rally.
What is?
I can't believe Bitcoin isn't trading above 92.
Why? Why?
You
Honestly,
would think.
because
You would think it would be
everything,
like
every
this.
time out, everything that you talked about that you thought Bitcoin was going up. It wasn't your mantra. It's some other clown out there who we won't mention his name. Okay. A ridiculous mantra that somehow you bought into makes no sense. So now your new buyer is down 35%. Can he buy more? Of course not. He can't buy a share. He can't buy a Bitcoin more because he is about to puke. Okay. So you ask why it can't go up. It can't go up because there's no good longs in the market. Now, your OG long, who you said sold the highs, okay, the guy
Yeah,
who
but then why are
made
you buying?
what?
Why are you buying then?
I'm buying because I thought there would be a bounce, okay, which we got a bounce.
Yeah, so did I, right? And now we're not seeing it. So
Yeah, we are. I'm up from where I bought it. It's not up as much as I thought it should be, but I'm up and I'm going to sit and wait till more guys like you or your OG puke it out.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Because you're going to puke it out. Okay. And so is all your OG buyers when it gets to 85 or 87 or whatever the number is. Come on, Eric. You can see what has gone on and how anyone could sell a mantra that having new longs at the high, okay, having everyone that made all the money getting out, which they never listen, those guys never had to get out, right? They could have stayed in forever. They've been in for years and years. Now they're getting out, and you think that that's a trade you want to take? And what's happening here, and the reason why I think Bitcoin may rally is because you're seeing liquidation. This is the liquidation part of the trade. So liquidation is going to come from 92,000 down to 87,000, okay? Or 88, wherever it was yesterday, okay? And then we're going to see if it holds and there's more liquidation. There may be more liquidation. They may puke everybody out of this thing. And then I don't know what the mantra is. And then my better question is, do you think it's still a bull scenario? down 35% from the high? I'm just asking. You think it's bullish?
I think a lot of what's been happening is liquidity driven in Bitcoin, and liquidity is getting pumped back in around December
Stop,
into,
dude. If you're
into the
playing that
bank.
mantra, I'm telling
Stop.
you, dude, I gotta actually, I'm getting this snippet because we're gonna play this back in December. I'm telling
Uh,
you, no chance. I know.
okay.
Wait, liquidity's coming and they're gonna buy the market more. The market's at an all-time high, my friend. They need more liquidity to buy it more. I mean,
So
what are
you
you
so you
talking
think you think the market is actually not liquidity driven? I would completely disagree with you. I think
about?
it's
I
completely
think I
I think
think
it's
the market.
completely liquidity driven.
Liquidity from what? You think the Fed is giving liquidity to who?
Ability of banks to lend to
Who
each
is
other,
the Okay, you're
trade
right. Dude, the banks haven't
overnight,
traded in the market in years.
and
Okay.
having lots of sources of overnight capital to lend and borrow from. This is
You
very
don't think
important.
Robin time out. You don't think Robinhood is lending all the money they need to the retail trader right now. You
Well, no,
think
they
okay,
are, but maybe
okay.
it's not as easy for them to get credit lines from other banks. There's a
Eric,
lot of stuff, Larry,
but
that
that's not
goes on.
making them buy. Okay, so they're going to get a credit line and that's going to get them to buy stocks or Bitcoin? I mean, come on.
If
This
if
is a
credit is
retail, listen,
freely
this is a,
available at a cheap
dude, I
price,
have to stop you for a second. This is a retail driven market. Okay. And the algo works in one way, Eric. If they see order flow, they run in front of the flow and they jam up stocks. Okay. That's what they do. What's happened in the last 2 weeks, which has been good for us, okay, is that they've lost control. They don't control it. The retail isn't there. But listen, if you told one retail guy, okay, one, that you could buy Bitcoin at 92,000 a month and a half ago, that guy would sell his arm to buy that. Okay. And now the guy can buy it, but he can't. So listen, that's trading 101. I mean, that's for another day because we're late in this podcast, but that's trading 101. Okay.
I don't know if retail dominates the market the way you think they do. I think, like we had that conversation yesterday, I don't think they're the lead singer. I think
Oh,
they're just another
why do
backup
you
singer.
say that? Who's the lead singer? Who's the lead singer? Tell me.
The, the
Who?
lead singer is pension funds, hedge funds, big institutions. At the end of the day, it's
Oh,
them.
well,
It's not.
can I tell you? I got to stop you because you're sideways right here. Okay. You tell me what happened to hedge funds in GameStop. Okay. Tell me. Trust me,
That's one
I was in
example.
the hedge fund. Eric, listen to me. You don't know really about this. I was in the hedge fund business for years. Okay. I know all the big hedge fund managers. Okay. They all trade together. So they were retail before retail. So seven big hedge funds would short XYZ. Okay. That worked like a charm. Okay. All of a sudden, the retail public was an army of ants and ran them over. Hedge funds don't control anything. They don't control anything. Okay. Big
That
hedge
was a
funds,
new. That was like the first of its kind. That GameStop situation that you just brought up.
that was the
That didn't.
first and last. The
At
government,
first and last, exactly. So why
Eric,
are you even bringing it up?
listen to me. I have to go in 2 minutes, but hedge funds blew out in GameStop. Blew out. The biggest hedge funds in the world were bankrupt from retail. They called the government. Okay, this is how the whole trade happened. Okay, you can go watch the movie. They called the freaking government. Okay,
It doesn't
and they
matter. It
say
was a one of one.
it was what?
It was a one of one. It never
It's
happened
a one
before.
of
It never.
one, and it won't happen again because the hedge funds are not big enough to get together and maneuver stocks. Okay? They don't do it. They were given a bailout by the government. The government came in when GameStop was trading at 400 or 500 pre market and literally told Robinhood they can only sell. Okay? And the reason why they did that was because every hedge fund was blown up. Hedge funds do not control the market. Pensions
Okay.
funds do not control the market. They don't.
No, it's the
And
granny. It's the granny. It's your neighbor,
Eric,
your
you're not
grandma.
getting it. It's
Yeah,
BlackRock.
these people
It's
are
Black.
controlling the market.
Can I speak? It's BlackRock, Blackstone. That's retail money coming in the market. Dude, let me ask you a question. Why do you think Bitcoin is not rallying more today? Because
I don't
retail's puking it out, and the market is waiting to see if they're done puking it out. Okay.
Well, the day's not over. If Bitcoin hits 95, you'll change your tune.
What are you talking about? I think we're going to go through a change a tune to go to where? Where do you think Bitcoin's going? I mean,
Where do you think it's going? You said you're renting the trade, so obviously you
right.
don't think it's
I'm
going to
hoping it
100.
gets to. I'm hoping it gets there.
I know exactly where you're going to sell at a profit. You're going to sell at 95.
Okay. You
Correct?
know what I'm going to do. Okay. Whatever. Listen, I'm going to see how it trades, but right now it doesn't feel good. That's all I can say. The trade doesn't feel good. Okay. So why do you think it doesn't feel good? Because there's no buyers.
No, it's because you and I are both in it. That's why.
Okay.
If only one of us was bullish, it would be working.
Eric, there are no buyers. Okay. There are no buyers. Your OGs are selling. Okay. So hopefully we get through with these sellers
But they've
today.
already sold, like yesterday. They already sold.
No, well, you're seeing the action I'm seeing more overhang. So there's probably more selling. Okay. I don't know. Listen, at 90,000, it's kind of dumb when it was just 108 a week and a half ago. That's down like 20%. I mean, if the stock market did that, they'd be halting trading. They would be calling, you want to talk about the Fed? They'd be calling the Fed begging for forgiveness. But the bottom line is that the market, the S&P is rigged. Tomorrow's expiration. Be careful of that. Probably want to sell after the opening. Anyway, we're going late. I think I gave pretty much every market. Oil, still no trade. Gold, we sold that out yesterday. We got out good. We're going to look to buy that again on the next dip down. That's, a two-way trader. Dollar is strong, which is interesting. The number today is kind of weird. I don't know if you can trust it. And the S&P is up 104. And it's weird because Nvidia was trading when I woke up. This is what's crazy. SPOOs were up 80. Nvidia was trading 197. Now Nvidia is trading 195, and the S&P is up even more. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're buying some other stocks, but again, premiums are good. Be careful out there, and everyone enjoy the day. We will not be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is my Ask Me Anything show. So if you have any questions or want to, speak with me, you can write to feedback at theopportunistictrader.com, and I will answer everyone's questions tomorrow. I wish everyone luck today. I'm praying for you in Bitcoin, my son. Praying. Anyway, good luck, everyone. Peace.